Welcome back. Thank you for joining us today. We're going to be talking about Google Classroom today. We hate that we can't be in person doing this because of the snow day. First things first, let's talk a little bit about how our training schedule is going to be changing here in the Instructional Technology Department. As you know, for the last so many years, your school has been assigned an ITRT. They would be there 1 day a week, and you have them be available to you. Dr. Kaiser has changed up the way he wants trainings to be conducted. We're going to be going out as a team. All 4 of the ITRTs will be in your school's attendance area for a week at a time, once a month. So this week we're in the Eastside attendance area. So we're going to be available to teachers throughout the week. We'll be providing trainings on 1 day a week at your school, but the other days of the week, if you need us, you can schedule a follow-up appointment. We'll show you that at the very end of the presentation. Now I'm going to let Daniel explain to you a little bit more about these trainings and the new TSIP requirements that Wise County is going to do. So take it away, Daniel.
All right, so we're going to be having some new requirements for licensure here coming out next year. These licensure requirements are in regard to the TSIPs, or the Technology Standards for Instructional Personnel. And everybody has already completed TSIPs before at some point in your tenure. If you're a licensed teacher, you had to be signed off on the TSIPs. Doesn't necessarily mean that you knew that you were being signed off on the TSIPs, but you were signed off on the TSIPs. And what that means is really somebody said that you were able to use a computer, you were able to do some kind of technology with your computer in the classroom. Usually the principal checks it off. Sometimes the ITRTs would check it off. It really applies to those, and has applied to those who were coming in from a trade school or into a trade school area like a career tech, or if you were coming from another state and you had to have your license transferred. The ITRT would usually check off everything on the TSIPs. They have changed the law, though, and the regulation for TSIPs recently, so that instead of just the beginning initial licensure phase, it's actually every 5 years now. So you have to meet a technology standard component of your license every 5 years in order to be recertified. It's being left up to individual school divisions, as most licensure requirements are. So Wise County is actually going to take the stance of trainings being the way that you fulfill your TSIP requirements. With us as your instructional coaches, we're going to do several trainings throughout the year, and these trainings will count for the required technology standard checkoff. So as you complete trainings and as you do these trainings with us, whether it's actually in person or online using YouTube Live, as you're doing right now, then we're going to be able to check off that you have been trained and you have met that part of the component for the TSIP requirement for your licensure renewal. So we really recommend and really encourage you to attend as many of these trainings as possible. That way that you can have those things marked off early on and you don't have to really worry about it. Plus, this is going to be a great opportunity for you to learn some great things that are available for you in your classroom in regard to technology integration. We're really seeing a lot more technology integration requirements coming through, such as with new coding SOLs that are going to be coming down, and several other technology standards that are going to be hitting our students, such as digital citizenship and the like. So we really recommend that you attend as many of these trainings as possible and learn as much as you can, and then schedule follow-up trainings with us. So we're actually going to have a follow-up calendar online that you'll be able to go in and schedule an appointment for an instructional coach to come to your classroom and help you to integrate the technology that you see in one of these trainings whenever we have the training. So we do have the calendar available on the county website, and I'll get Jesse to show you where that is right before he gets into the training and showing you Google Classroom. But really what we're going to do is we're going to take the stance of, if you see something that you like and you want one of us to come in and show you more about it, or actually help you get integrated into your classroom, such as sitting down with your students and showing them how to use it. For instance, with Google Classroom, you may need one of us to come in and get your students into Google Classroom on the first time and actually help you to use Google Classroom that initial time. So we're going to make ourselves available for that. If you're interested in that, please schedule an appointment with one of us to come out and help you with that. And we would be happy to come out and do that with you. We're also going to show you, like Jesse said, at the end of the training, the sign-in sheet that you will actually say whether that you attended this training. And on that sign-in sheet, there is a place where you can mark that you will be checking for follow-up appointments. And it just lets us know kind of who will probably be putting in for a follow-up for these trainings. So definitely sign in that you've been trained on this if you've watched this video. And also be sure to check out the appointment slots for your follow-up trainings after this video so that you can schedule one of us to come out this week and help you. But I'm going to switch back over to Jesse, and he's going to show you Google Classroom.
Hopefully everything's coming through good. We got Kevin over here helping us with some tech support. If something goes wrong, he's going to give us a thumbs up if everything's going good. I'll make my screen bigger so you can see it. So as we was talking about these trainings, the training module was changed. Kev, tell me when you see my Google Classroom come up. Tell me when you see our Google Classroom come up. Is it good?
It's just maybe on video.
Okay. You should be seeing a classroom then. Let me go back and change that. I'll get it fixed. Hold on. All right. We should be good now. So here's my Google Classroom, and as we were saying, the instructional model way we were doing these trainings has changed. In the past, we did a lot of in-depth trainings with you guys one-on-one in the schools. Now it's going to be a little bit more of show and tell. This is what the product can do. And if it's something that you like, you can schedule a follow-up point for one of us to come and sit down with you one-on-one and show you and show your students how to use this. In our last training last week, Mr. Hicks was talking to a bunch of teachers, and he was talking about how many times we sat through a training 40, 50 minutes, and it really not apply to my classroom, and it's maybe something I don't want to use or could not use. So instead of doing that model, hopefully we can introduce a lot more stuff to you. You can see what it can do, and if you like it, let us know. We'll sit down with you. We'll do it face-to-face. We'll get you trained up on it. So like I said, this is not going to be an A to Z how-to sessions. This is more of what's out there. This is how it works, and this is whether you like it or not. All right, so when we first went to Google and became a Google school division, probably one of the things that we have trained on the most is Google Classroom. I know I've done several classroom trainings, through our Snowday professional developments that we were doing, through the after-school professional developments that we were doing. We've trained on them individually in our schools. So we've had a lot of Google Classroom training out there. And one of the best things about the Google products is they are improved on, but they really don't change. The nuts and bolts of Google Classroom is still there. Way information is presented to students is still the same. The only thing that really changes, Google streamlines it and has made it a little more user-friendly for teachers and for students. That's the stuff that I'm really wanting to highlight today is those changes and how easier it is for us to find information for our students and for ourselves. So here's the training class that I set up for this training. As you know, guys, Google Classroom has a social media feel. If you can use Facebook or Twitter, you should be right at home with Google Classroom. All your important school information for the class is located within the stream right here. This is like your news stream in Facebook. So all the information that I want to get to my students will be located here. And in this training class, I just included some of the different types of assignments and announcements that you could add to your classroom. If you go down here to the bottom, this is the first type of assignment. This is where a teacher sends out like a blank template or worksheet, gives every student a copy of it, and they fill it out and they submit it back to you. So that's one option that you can do. You can actually send the students a copy of a doc, and they can fill it out. They can send it back. The second type is where you just give the students an assignment and the students create something. So on this assignment, I sent it out, and the students were supposed to attach a Google Sheet that they created to it. And the third one is a Google Form. Now, this is a big change that's happened in the G Suite products, Google products in the last 2 years, is Google Forms' ability to become a multiple choice quiz and grade it for you. This is some functionality that Google added into Classroom this year. You can put in a form, make it a quiz, and the quiz will grade it for you, and it will let the students know what they made also. So that's really the 3 types of assignments that we see a lot of people using. If you want to know how to do all this stuff, schedule that follow-up appointment. We'll sit down with you. We'll show you how it's done. All right, so this next type is just an announcement. I posted this from my phone in the drive-through line at McDonald's one morning when I was coming to work. We were getting ready to do one of these trainings, so I just pulled out my phone. I shot a quick video. I attached it and posted it here in the classroom. So that's one of the wonderful things about Classroom is the ability to get information to students and use my phone. That's a big selling point for kids. Kids love apps. They love using their phones. Google Classroom has an iPhone and an Android app. Going on up here at the top, here's just a YouTube video I threw in there. And I'll talk about this later. So that's kind of the high points of using the new stream. It's just the ability to get information out to students. Now, when we first started training on Google Classroom and had people start using Classroom, the first complaint that we started to hear was, it's great. I can get all this information out for my students, but for my students to find information, it can get tedious, especially if I post a lot of information on there. If I use this throughout the semester with my students and my students want to go back and look at SOL2's notes or SOL assignment I did back in January and it's May, they got to go back and search through that stream. So, it got a little tedious for students to go and actually find the information. Teachers gave feedback to Google, and Google's solution was to create these topics. They put in this topics column over here to the left. Now, you can create as many topics as you want. These are all ones I created just as an example for this training. I'm an old history guy. If I had a Google Classroom, I would have my topics set up by SOLs. So I'd have all my information grouped like that. So students could go back for SOL2 and find all the information that I posted for that particular SOL. So it's kind of like a built-in study guide for your SOLs, if you want to think about it that way. And it's just a great way to organizational tool. That's probably the biggest thing with Google Classroom is the organizational part of it. All your curriculum can be in one spot and readily accessible by anyone at any time through basically any device. So that's the big selling point for Classroom is the availability of information. So let's really talk about how we get these topics created. I will show you that. So whenever I do an assignment or an announcement, if you notice down here at the bottom, you see topics. So after I give it its title, do my due date and all that information, I can give it a topic. I hit the drop down arrow, and here's the topics that I've already created. All right. Like I said, old history guy, if I had a classroom, I'd break it up by SOLs. Say we are finished with SOL2 and we want to go on to SOL3. I can type in SOL3 and I hit assign. Once I did that, you'll notice over here under topics, an SOL3 tab has been created. So when my students go back into the classroom and they want to see all the information I've posted, say for daily work, they click on the tab and everything that I've assigned as daily work will be available for them to see. So it's a great way to get your information organized and ready for your students. Like I said, it's like a built-in study guide. So that was a fix Google did this year, kind of streamlined it for students. Teachers also were asking about this. All right, it's great. I can give these assignments. I can get all this information back for students, but it would be nice instead of having to go back to the assignment itself or to go through my drive and actually find this information. It'd be great if I could just click, see all my students' work at a time. So if I want to see all Jason Hicks's work, that would be great. So teacher sent feedback to Google, and Google's response was this. If you go under the Students tab and you click on a student's name, it's going to pull up every assignment that's being assigned to that student. So here's all the stuff that has been assigned to Jason Hicks. And you can also filter it whether they've turned it in, whether or not you have graded it, or if it's missing, if they have not turned it in. So that's something that's very new. It's less than 2 weeks old, actually. So this is a new function within Google Classroom that is, got a lot of people excited. I can go see what these students have done. I don't have to go back to the actual assignment and find it, or I don't have to go back to my drive and look for the assignments folder and find it. It's all right here laid out for me. Now, like I said, if you want to see everybody's for a particular assignment, all you have to do is click on the assignments. Go down here where we have some turned in. Let's go down here to the bottom one. So here's that one assignment where I sent out the doc and they turned it back in. Had one student turn it in. Shows right here it's done, Jason Hicks. I click on that, it's going to show me his document. So that's how I can go through each assignment that way and find the work also. Or I can just go to the Students tab and select the student that I want in question that I want to see. Now, one of the things that's probably the most underutilized part of Google Classroom that we have seen with people who are actually using it is people who are not using the About tab. The About tab is a great place for you to store information about your class or class materials. If you have a syllabus, if you have a calendar, if you send out a monthly newsletter, this would be a great place to store this information. It keeps it from cluttering up your news stream, and it's always there for students to find, and it's easier to navigate. So another use for it that we have found is, say you have a lot of web links that you want your students to use. I know especially in elementary levels, they have a lot of websites they have for their students, whether it's BrainPop, IXL, ABC, and there's so many more we can name, YouTube, anything. So if you have a lot of web links that you want to be available for your students, you can put all the web links that you want to use in your class in this About tab. So whenever your students log in the classroom, all the links are there for them. You don't have to take them to a lab and have them go to a URL, because we all know, even high school kids have trouble sometimes logging in and finding stuff. So all these links are right here, readily available for them, and they're just a click away from them. That's probably the biggest changes in Classroom that we've seen over this past year. There's a lot of functionality to Classroom. It's a great tool to use. If you're ever thinking about flipping your classroom, this is a great tool. If you're thinking about just doing, if you want to blend some stuff and do some half flip stuff, this is a great tool. And if you just want to use it as a depository for your materials, it's a great thing for that. It has great organizational tools now. It's a great thing for students, especially around SOL time. It's that built-in study guide. Here's all the stuff we need. Here's all your topics. It's a great way to get that information out to your students. You got anything to add, Daniel?
I think that's pretty much a good cover of everything. I think Google Classroom, in my opinion, is one of the greatest things that we've ever had as Google School Division. And in all honesty, we've seen so many great things happen in our schools, even the unconventional uses of Google Classroom. I mean, there are so many ways that you can use Google Classroom. And you just show them how they can submit feedback. If they'd like to see
Oh yeah,
how
I'll do it.
If they like to recommend something for Google, you can submit feedback to Google and they listen to it. That's the cool thing about Google Classroom that I like.
Let me show it to them real quick. Switch my camera back. If you, like Daniel said, Google wants to hear your feedback. We sat in with a meeting with Google 2 weeks ago, and that's one of the things they told us. They want to hear from teachers. They want to hear from people who are using the product. Their developers were there. And they said, hey, tell us what you want, so we can give you a product that you can use. If you look down here in the lower left-hand corner, you'll see this question mark. Any Google G Suite product that you are using, if you see this question mark in a circle, that is your way to give feedback on that particular item. Whether stock sheets, slides, drawing, whatever. If you click on the question mark, you can give feedback or ask a question to Google. And this is the reason we got the topics, is because teachers wanted it. That's the reason we got the functionality where you can click on a student's name and all their assignments pop up. That's why we got forms added where you can integrate forms into Classroom. These are things that educators wanted and their developers have worked on and got going. And there's more changes coming down the pipe. But like we said, the nuts and bolts of Classroom has not changed. It's just got more streamlined and easier to use, and the organization's gotten better. So, and that's the stuff that we expect to see in the future, is just the organizational pieces getting better. So I think that's all we got for Classroom. Now let's talk about the follow-up appointments. If you're wanting to set up a follow-up appointment with one of us, we'll show you how to do that. You need to go to the county's website. Once you're there, click on the For Staff tab. And over here under this column where it says WCPS links, you'll go down to technology training link, click it. This is the page you'll come to. This is just giving a little description of this training this spring. It gives you a little inclement weather note. We are doing that today because we were out of school. If we have a snow schedule, we will roll on with the trainings at your location as planned. We'll just make do with what we got. And at the bottom is the schedule where we're going to be on what day. So this week, the 5th through the 8th, we will be in the Eastside attendance area. We'll be at Coburn Middle tomorrow, Coburn Primary on Wednesday, and St. Paul Elementary on Thursday. So throughout this week, guys, if you need to schedule a follow-up appointment with us, please do so. One of us will come out and work with you. You can do it as a grade level. You can do it as individually, however you see fit, however it fits into your schedule. So if you're wanting to actually schedule a follow-up appointment, you'll come over here to the Spring 2018 column. And you'll go down to the bottom where this link where it says follow-up appointments. You'll click it. We have set up a Google Google Calendar with appointment slots, and it's available for you guys to use. So what you will do, say you want us to come during your planning, and your planning begins at 10 o'clock. So you want us to come on tomorrow at Tuesday. Click on that appointment slot. Tell us what's going on, tell us who you are, and tell us what time and where you want us to show up at. Click Save. Once you do that, it will add it to your Google Calendar, and it'll add it to ours. That way, one of us or two of us, three of us maybe, can come out and work with you. Now, I'm going to give you a little heads up. We have appointment slots right here on Friday. We will actually be going to a meeting in Richmond on Friday, so we will not be available for appointment slots on Friday. So any day except Friday this week. And if we're in another enrollment attendance area and you need one of us or two of us. We are flexible and we can come out and work with you. The easiest two ways to get a hold of us right now are by email, and one I really suggest is Google Hangouts. We're actually going to train on Google Hangouts next month. So if you don't know how to use Hangouts, we'll hit that hard next month. But most of you have used it, and most of y'all have contacted us once or twice by it. Easiest way to find Google Hangouts is go to your email, and it'll be on the lower left-hand side. You can do a chat with us. You can do a video call with us, whatever you choose to do. So I'm going to go in. I'm going to pull up the sign-in sheet link. To get credit for today's training, you need to go to www.yelkey.com/rich. Once you go there, you'll fill out the Google form for this training, and you'll get credit for attending this training. This YouTube video will only be up for 24 hours. After 24 hours, it will be taken down. So you have 24 hours to watch this video and to sign into the Yale Key. And the Yale Key will be up for 24 hours also. 24 hours. So after 24 hours, all this goes away. If you need to do a follow-up appointment with us, guys, please do so. And until next time, we're going to sign off, and you guys have a great day.